Do you want to successfully complete the CompTIA A plus Core 01 exam? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, where thousands of students have found their path to exam success. Our website provides completely free access to over 300 practice questions with detailed explanations and comprehensive study guides covering every exam objective. Everything you need for success on your first attempt for free. In this video, we will cover questions from mobile devices, networking, hardware, virtualization, troubleshooting. So, let's get started. 1. A user reports that their desktop computer powers on. Fans spin and LEDs light up, but nothing appears on the monitor and there are no beep codes. After checking that the monitor works properly with another computer, what should the technician check next? A. Whether the CPU has become unseated. B. If the RAM modules are properly installed. C. If the power supply is providing adequate voltage. D. Whether the hard drive has failed. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. If the RAM modules are properly installed. Explanation. Option B is correct because improperly seated or failed RAM is a common cause of a computer that powers on but doesn't display anything or produce beep codes. Many systems won't power on self-test without functioning RAM, and checking RAM is a quick, easy troubleshooting step. Option A is incorrect, because while a CPU issue could cause no post symptoms, RAM is more commonly the culprit and easier to check first. Additionally, CPU issues often produce beep codes, which the scenario states are absent. Option C is incorrect because if the power supply was the main issue, the system likely wouldn't power on at all, or would shut down quickly. The scenario indicates the fans and LEDs are working, suggesting that the power supply is providing at least some power. Option D is incorrect because a failed hard drive would still allow the system to post and display BIOS information. The system would only fail when trying to boot the operating system. 2. A technician needs to connect a new solid-state drive in a high-performance workstation. The drive needs to have the fastest possible connection to the motherboard. Which of the following interfaces should the technician choose? A. SATA. B. eSATA. C. NVMe PCIe. D. ID. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. NVMe PCIe. Explanation. Option C is correct because NVMe, non-volatile memory express, over PCIe provides significantly faster data transfer hum rates than other storage interfaces listed. NVMe is specifically designed for SSDs and leverages the high-speed PCIe bus for maximum performance. Option A is incorrect because while SATA is a common interface for SSDs, it has much lower bandwidth limits compared to NVMe PCIe, making it slower for high-performance applications. Option B is incorrect because eSATA is designed for external connections and has the same speed limitations as internal SATA, making it unsuitable for maximum performance in a workstation. Option D is incorrect because IDE is a legacy interface that is much slower than modern interfaces and is rarely found in current systems. It would be the slowest option among all those listed and completely unsuitable for a high-performance SSD. 3. During a mobile device screen replacement, a technician accidentally damages a small component near the top of the display assembly. After completing the repair, the customer reports that people can't hear them clearly during phone calls, but they can hear the other person fine. Which component was most likely damaged? A. Wi-Fi antenna. B. Front-facing camera. C. Proximity sensor. D. Secondary microphone. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, D. Secondary microphone. Explanation. Option D is correct because the secondary microphone is typically located near the top of mobile devices and is crucial for voice capture during calls. Damage to this component would result in others not being able to hear the user clearly during calls. Option A is incorrect because damage to the Wi-Fi antenna would affect wireless internet connectivity, not call audio quality. Option B is incorrect because camera damage would affect video calls or selfies, but wouldn't impact the audio quality of regular phone calls. Option C is incorrect because the proximity sensor detects when the phone is near your face to turn off the screen during calls. If damaged, it might cause the screen to stay on or off during calls, but wouldn't affect whether others can hear you. 4. A gaming enthusiast is comparing mobile devices and prioritizes having the fastest screen response time to avoid motion blur in fast-paced games. Cost is not a concern. Which display technology below would best meet these requirements? A. VA LCD, B. IPS LCD, C. TN LCD or OLED, D. Any LCD with high refresh rate. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. TN LCD or OLED. Explanation. Option C is correct because both TN LCD and OLED displays offer the fastest response times among the technologies listed. TN LCDs have traditionally been favored for gaming due to their quick pixel transitions, while OLED displays also offer extremely fast response times, since each pixel can change state nearly instantly. Option A is incorrect because VA panels typically have the slowest response times among LCD technologies, often resulting in noticeable ghosting or motion blur during fast movement. Option B is incorrect because while modern IPS panels have improved, they generally have slower response times than TN panels or OLED displays. Option D is incorrect because refresh rate alone doesn't determine motion blur. Response time, how quickly pixels can change state, is more important for reducing motion blur, and not all LCD types offer fast response times regardless of refresh rate. Five. A mobile professional frequently needs to share their smartphone's internet connection with their laptop when working in locations without Wi-Fi. Which of the following connection methods would use the least amount of battery power on their smartphone while providing this functionality? A. Wi-Fi hotspot, B. Bluetooth tethering, C. USB tethering, D. NFC connection. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. USB tethering. Explanation. Option C is correct because USB tethering not only uses less battery power than wireless tethering methods, but it actually charges the smartphone while in use, if connected to a laptop that provides power over USB. This makes it the most power-efficient option for sharing an internet connection. Option A is incorrect because broadcasting a Wi-Fi signal consumes significant battery power, making it one of the most battery-intensive tethering methods. Option B is incorrect because, while Bluetooth uses less power than Wi-Fi, it still consumes more battery than a direct USB connection and provides slower data speeds. Option D is incorrect because NFC isn't designed for continuous data tethering. It's primarily used for momentary data exchange or pairing initiation, not ongoing internet connection sharing. 6. A user has connected their smartphone to a docking station with multiple USB ports, HDMI output, and Ethernet. The dock is powered and the phone is charging, but the external monitor connected to the HDMI port remains blank. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. The docking station firmware needs to be updated. B. The phone's display settings need to be configured to output video. C. The Ethernet cable is creating a signal interference. D. The USB ports are drawing too much power from the system. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: B. The phone's display settings need to be configured to output video. Explanation: Option B is correct because many smartphones don't automatically output video when connected to an external display. The user likely needs to enable display output in the phone's settings, or use a specific gesture or command to activate external display mode. The fact that the phone is charging indicates the dock is powered and connected properly. Option A is incorrect because while firmware issues are possible, they're less common than configuration issues, and the dock is working for power delivery, suggesting basic functionality is intact. Option C is incorrect because Ethernet cables are shielded and don't typically create interference with HDMI signals, especially in a properly designed docking station. Option D is incorrect because excessive power draw from USB devices would more likely affect the functionality of those USB devices themselves, not prevent HDMI output. Additionally, the scenario states the dock is powered, indicating it has its own power source. Seven. A user has just purchased a new smartphone and wants to ensure that their contacts, calendar events, and photos from their old device are available on the new one. Both devices use the Android operating system. Which of the following is the most efficient way to accomplish this? A. Manually re-enter all contacts and calendar events on the new phone. B. Use a USB cable to copy files directly between devices. C. Sign into the same Google account on the new device and enable synchronization. D. Export contacts to a SIM card and import them on the new device. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. Sign into the same Google account on the new device and enable synchronization. Explanation: Option C is correct because signing into the same Google account on the new Android device and enabling synchronization will automatically download the user's contacts, calendar events, and photos, if Google Photos was used, from the cloud. This is the most efficient method that ensures all the specified data types are transferred. Option A is incorrect because this would be extremely time-consuming and prone to errors, making it the least efficient option available. Option B is incorrect because while this could work for photos, it's a more complicated process that would require additional steps and might not properly transfer all contacts and calendar events with their metadata and synchronization capabilities. Option D is incorrect because while SIM cards can store contacts, they have limited storage capacity, don't store calendar events or photos, and transferring contacts this way doesn't establish ongoing synchronization. 8. An executive frequently travels internationally and needs to use location-based services on their smartphone while indoors at client offices, but is concerned about battery life. Which location technology would best balance accuracy and battery consumption for indoor use? A. GPS only. B. Cellular location services. C. Wi-Fi positioning. D. Bluetooth beacons. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: C. Wi-Fi positioning. Explanation: Option C is correct because Wi-Fi positioning provides good accuracy indoors, where GPS struggles, while using less battery power than constantly running GPS. Wi-Fi positioning determines location by detecting nearby Wi-Fi networks and comparing them to a database of known locations, making it ideal for indoor use in office buildings, where Wi-Fi is typically available. Option A is incorrect, because GPS requires line of sight to satellites, making it unreliable indoors. It also consumes significant battery power when continuously active, especially when struggling to acquire a signal indoors. Option B is incorrect, because while they work indoors, cellular location services are generally less accurate than Wi-Fi positioning in indoor environments like office buildings, often providing only neighborhood-level accuracy rather than building-specific location. Option D is incorrect, because while Bluetooth beacons can provide excellent indoor accuracy, they require specialized infrastructure to be pre-installed in the client offices. Since the executive is traveling to various locations, they cannot rely on Bluetooth beacons being available at all client sites. (9) A systems administrator is troubleshooting a user's inability to use remote desktop to connect to their work computer from home. The administrator has verified that the home internet connection is working and that the work computer is powered on. Which port should the administrator check is properly forwarded in the company's firewall? A. Port 3389. B. Port 443. C. Port 22. D. Port 25. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Port 3389. Explanation. Option A is correct, because port 3389 is used by Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, which is the protocol used for Microsoft's Remote Desktop Service. If this port is not properly forwarded through the company's firewall, external remote desktop connections would be blocked. Option B is incorrect, because while port 443, HTTPS, might be used in some VPN or web-based remote access solutions, the scenario specifically mentions remote desktop, which uses port 3389 by default. Option C is incorrect, because port 22 is used for SSH, Secure Shell, which provides command line remote access, primarily used with Linux/Unix systems, not the graphical interface provided by Remote Desktop on Windows. Option D is incorrect, because port 25 is used for SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, for sending email, which is unrelated to remote desktop access. (10) A network technician is setting up a new DNS server for a company. The technician needs to configure the server to handle standard DNS queries from client machines as efficiently as possible. Which transport protocol and port would be best for this purpose? A. TCP on port 53. B. UDP on port 53. C. TCP on port 443. D. UDP on port 67. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. UDP on port 53. Explanation. Option B is correct because UDP on port 53 is the standard protocol and port for DNS queries. UDP is preferred for typical DNS queries because it's faster and more efficient, with less overhead than TCP. Standard DNS queries are small and fit within a single UDP packet, making UDP ideal for this purpose. Option A is incorrect because while DNS can use TCP on port 53, it's typically only used for zone transfers or when responses exceed 512 bytes, requiring multiple packets. For standard client queries, UDP is more efficient. Option C is incorrect because port 443 is used for HTTPS, not DNS. While some modern DNS security protocols like DNS over HTTPS, DOH, Do use port 443. The question asks about standard DNS queries, which use port 53. Option D is incorrect, because port 67 is used for DHCP server communications, not DNS. DHCP handles IP address assignment, which is a separate function from the domain name resolution provided by DNS. A technician needs to extend wireless coverage to a building annex where running cables is difficult. Users need to be able to connect their mobile devices to the company network in this area. Which of the following would be the most appropriate device to install? A. Router. B. Switch. C. Access point. D. NIC. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Access point. Explanation. Option C is correct because an access point is specifically designed to extend wireless network coverage by creating a wireless network that connects back to the main wired network. This allows mobile devices to connect wirelessly in areas where the main wireless signal doesn't reach. Option A is incorrect because while many home routers include wireless capabilities, a standalone router's primary function is to connect different networks and route traffic between them. For simply extending wireless coverage, a dedicated access point is more appropriate and cost-effective. Option B is incorrect because switches connect wired devices on a network. They don't provide wireless connectivity and wouldn't help extend wireless coverage to the annex. Option D is incorrect because a network interface card is installed in computers and devices to connect them to networks. It doesn't extend network coverage to new areas. 12. A company has installed IP phones throughout their office. To reduce cabling and power outlet requirements, they want to power these phones through their network cables. The current network uses standard switches. Which solution would best meet their needs while minimizing additional equipment? A. Replace the switches with PoE switches. B. Add a hub between the switch and each phone. C. Install a separate power adapter for each phone. D. Use wireless phones instead of IP phones. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. Replace the switches with PoE switches. Explanation. Option A is correct because replacing the standard switches with power over Ethernet. PoE switches would allow the IP phones to receive both network connectivity and power through a single Ethernet cable. This directly addresses the requirement to reduce cabling and power outlet needs with minimal additional equipment. Option B is incorrect because add a hub between the switch and each phone is incorrect for multiple reasons. Hubs would create network inefficiency by broadcasting all traffic. They don't provide power over Ethernet. And adding a device between each switch and phone would increase equipment rather than minimize it. Option C is incorrect because this would require a power outlet for each phone, contradicting the requirement to reduce power outlet needs. Option D is incorrect because wireless phones would still need to be powered somehow, typically through batteries that need recharging or power adapters, which doesn't solve the power requirement issue. Additionally, replacing all the already installed IP phones would involve significant cost and wouldn't leverage the existing infrastructure. 13. IT technician is troubleshooting poor performance on a wireless network. During testing, the technician notices that the network speed drops significantly every time the microwave in the break room is used. Which of the following actions would most likely resolve this issue? A. Replace the microwave with a newer model. B. Switch the wireless network from 2.4 GHz to 5 GHz. C. Enable WPA2 encryption on the wireless network. D. Update the firmware on the wireless router. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Switch the wireless network from 2.4 GHz to 5 GHz. Explanation. Option B is correct because microwaves operate in the 2.4 GHz frequency range and commonly cause interference with 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi networks. Switching to 5 GHz would move the wireless network to a completely different frequency band that doesn't experience interference from microwave ovens. Option A is incorrect because even newer microwave models operate in the same frequency range and would likely cause similar interference with 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi. Replacing the microwave would be a more expensive and less effective solution. Option C is incorrect because encryption affects security, not interference or performance issues caused by competing signals in the same frequency band. Option D is incorrect because while firmware updates can improve router performance, they cannot solve physical interference issues caused by devices operating in the same frequency range. The fundamental problem is the frequency conflict. 14. A home user is setting up a mesh Wi-Fi system to improve coverage throughout their house. They have both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz capable devices and want to maximize both coverage and speed. What is the best advice regarding frequency band usage in this scenario? A. Use only 2.4 GHz for all devices to ensure whole home coverage. B. Use only 5 GHz for all devices to maximize speed. C. Use a single SSID for both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz, allowing devices to connect to the optimal band. D. Create separate networks for 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz to manually assign devices to each band. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Use a single SSID for both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz, allowing devices to connect to the optimal band. Explanation. Option C is correct because using a single SSID, network name, for both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands allows the mesh system to implement band steering, which automatically directs devices to the optimal frequency band based on their capabilities, signal strength, and location. This provides the best balance of coverage, using 2.4 GHz where needed, and speed, using 5 GHz where available, without requiring manual management. Option A is incorrect, because while 2.4 GHz provides better range and coverage, it sacrifices the higher speeds available on the 5 GHz band, which many of the user's devices can utilize. Option B is incorrect, because 5 GHz has poorer range and wall penetration compared to 2.4 GHz. In a whole home scenario, some areas would likely have poor or no connectivity if only 5 GHz were used. Option D is incorrect because manually assigning devices to specific bands creates unnecessary management complexity for the user. As devices move throughout the home, they may need to switch between bands for optimal performance, which wouldn't happen automatically with separate networks. 15. A company wants to implement a solution that will combine multiple security functions, including firewall protection, intrusion detection, antivirus scanning, and content filtering into a single manageable device. Which network appliance would best meet these requirements? A. Load balancer. B. Proxy server. C. UTM device. D. Spam gateway. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. UTM device. Explanation. Option C is correct because a UTM, Unified Threat Management, device is specifically designed to combine multiple security functions, including firewall protection, intrusion detection / prevention, antivirus, anti-malware, content filtering, and often VPN capabilities into a single appliance with centralized management. Option A is incorrect because a load balancer distributes network traffic across multiple servers for improved performance and reliability, not for providing security functions. Option B is incorrect because while a proxy server can provide some security benefits, like content filtering, it doesn't typically include the comprehensive security functions, firewall, intrusion detection, antivirus, that a UTM device provides. Option D is incorrect because a spam gateway focuses specifically on filtering email for spam and threats, not on providing broader network security functions like firewall protection or intrusion detection. 16. A school district wants to implement internet filtering for student computers, while also improving web browsing performance through caching frequently accessed educational resources. Which of the following network services would best meet these requirements? A. DNS server, B. Web server, C. Proxy server, D. DHCP server. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, C. Proxy server. Explanation. Option C is correct because a proxy server can both filter web content based on policies, blocking inappropriate sites for students, and cache frequently accessed content to improve performance and reduce bandwidth usage. These are the two specific requirements mentioned in the scenario. Option A is incorrect because while DNS can provide some basic filtering by blocking resolution of certain domain names, it doesn't provide the content-level filtering or caching capabilities needed for comprehensive school internet filtering and performance improvement. Option B is incorrect because a web server hosts websites and web applications, but doesn't provide filtering for external web content or caching of external resources. Option D is incorrect because a DHCP server assigns IP addresses and network configuration to devices. It doesn't provide web content filtering or caching capabilities. 17. A user reports that their smartphone's bottom speaker produces distorted, muffled sound, but only started having this issue after being caught in the rain yesterday. What is the most likely cause? A. The speaker driver needs to be updated. B. Residual moisture in the speaker cavity. C. The audio app needs to be reinstalled. D. The audio file being played is corrupted. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Residual moisture in the speaker cavity. Explanation. Option B is correct because muffled or distorted sound from a speaker shortly after exposure to rain is most likely caused by residual moisture in the speaker cavity. Water can block the speaker membrane's movement or affect acoustic properties until it fully evaporates. Option A is incorrect because speaker drivers are hardware-related firmware, not typically updatable software, and driver issues wouldn't suddenly appear specifically after rain exposure. Option C is incorrect because app issues wouldn't be limited to just the bottom speaker, and the timing correlation with rain exposure strongly suggests a physical moisture issue. Option D is incorrect because if the audio file were corrupted, the distortion would be heard through any output, including headphones or the top speaker, not just the bottom speaker that was likely exposed to rain. (18) A small business wants to improve security on their wireless network. They currently use an older router with WEP encryption. An IT consultant has recommended upgrading to a new router. Which of the following security configurations would provide the best security for their wireless network? A. WPA with TKIP encryption and a complex passphrase. B. WPA2 with TKIP encryption and MAC filtering. C. WPA2 with AES encryption and a complex passphrase. D. WPA3 with a simple memorable passphrase. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. WPA2 with AES encryption and a complex passphrase. Explanation. Option C is correct because WPA2 with AES encryption and a complex passphrase represents the most practical and secure configuration for most small business environments. AES, Advanced Encryption Standard, provides stronger encryption than TKIP, and a complex passphrase adds another layer of security against brute force attacks. Option A is incorrect because WPA is older and less secure than WPA2, and TKIP, Temporal Key Integrity Protocol, has known vulnerabilities. While better than WEP, this would not be the best option for security. Option B is incorrect because TKIP is a less secure encryption method than AES. Additionally, while MAC filtering adds a layer of access control, it's relatively easy to bypass by spoofing MAC addresses, and it doesn't directly improve the encryption security. Option D is incorrect, because while WPA3 is the newest standard with improved security features, using a simple, memorable passphrase undermines its security. The strength of the passphrase is critical regardless of the protocol used. A complex passphrase with the WPA2/AES would provide better overall security than a simple passphrase with WPA3. (19) A company wants to implement a comprehensive email security solution that includes instructions for receiving mail servers on what to do with emails that fail authentication checks. Which of the following should they implement? A. SPF and DKIM only. B. DMARC. C. MX records with security flags. D. A records with security parameters. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. DMARC. Explanation. Option B is correct because DMARC, domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance, provides policy instructions for receiving mail, how to handle emails that fail SPF or DKIM authentication checks. DMARC allows domain owners to specify whether to monitor, quarantine, or reject suspicious emails, and also provides reporting on email authentication results. Option A is incorrect because while SPF and DKIM provide authentication mechanisms, they don't include explicit instructions for mail servers on what actions to take when authentication fails. DMARC builds upon these technologies by adding policy enforcement and reporting. Option C is incorrect because MX records simply specify which mail servers should receive email for a domain and don't support security flags or authentication policies. Security parameters are implemented through separate record types like SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Option D is incorrect because A records map host names to IPv4 addresses and don't support security parameters related to email authentication. They serve a completely different purpose in DNS. 20. A laser printer is producing pages with black vertical lines in the same position on every page. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. The printer needs more toner. B. The imaging drum is scratched. C. The printer's memory is full. D. The wrong paper size is configured. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. The imaging drum is scratched. Explanation. Option B is correct because consistent black vertical lines in the same position on every page typically indicate a scratch or damage on the imaging drum. Photosensitive drum. Since the drum rotates for each page, a scratch creates a line in the same position on every page. Option A is incorrect because low toner would cause faded prints overall, not black lines in specific positions. Option C is incorrect because memory issues would cause incomplete prints or errors, not specific line defects. Option D is incorrect because incorrect paper size settings would cause content to be misaligned or cut off, not create vertical lines on the output. 21. A city government wants to implement a network that connects all municipal buildings, traffic systems, and public services across the entire city. Which network type would best describe this configuration? A. LAN. B. WAN. C. MAN. D. SAN. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. MAN. Explanation. Option C is correct because a metropolitan area network, MAN, is specifically designed to cover a city or large metropolitan area. MANs are ideal for connecting multiple sites within a single city, such as municipal buildings, traffic systems, and public services, under one cohesive network. Option A is incorrect because a local area network typically covers only a single building or campus. A LAN would be too limited in scope to connect multiple municipal facilities across an entire city. Option B is incorrect because a wide area network typically connects locations across much greater distances, such as different cities, countries, or continents. While a WAN could connect city facilities, a MAN is more appropriate for the citywide scope described. Option D is incorrect because a storage area network is a specialized network dedicated to providing high-speed access to shared storage. A SAN addresses storage needs, not general connectivity between municipal buildings and services across a city. (22) Home user frequently experiences slow internet speeds in the evening when many neighbors are likely online, despite having adequate speeds during the day. Which internet connection type is most likely causing this issue? A. Fiber. B. DSL. C. Cable. D. Satellite. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Cable. Explanation. Option C is correct because cable internet uses shared bandwidth among neighbors in the same area. When many users in a neighborhood are online simultaneously, typically during evening hours, available bandwidth is divided among them, causing noticeable slowdowns. This peak hour congestion is a characteristic limitation of cable internet technology. Option A is incorrect because fiber optic internet typically provides dedicated bandwidth that isn't shared with neighbors to the same extent as cable. Fiber connections generally maintain consistent speeds, regardless of how many neighbors are online. Option B is incorrect because DSL provides a dedicated connection through phone lines that isn't significantly affected by neighbor usage. While DSL has other limitations, neighborhood congestion during peak hours isn't typically one of them. Option D is incorrect because while satellite internet can experience congestion, it's not typically related to neighbor usage patterns in the evening. Satellite congestion is more likely to occur across wider geographical areas and doesn't follow the specific pattern described of evening slowdowns in a residential neighborhood. 23. A technician needs to determine why a specific application is experiencing slowdowns over the network. The technician wants to examine the actual data packets being transmitted between the application server and client machines. Which tool would best accomplish this? A. Wi-Fi analyzer. B. Loopback plug. C. Network tap. D. Cable tester. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, C. Network tap. Explanation. Option C is correct because a network tap allows the technician to capture and examine the actual data packets traveling between devices without interrupting communication. When connected to appropriate analysis software, It provides detailed information about packet types, errors, timing, and protocol-specific issues that could explain application slowdowns. Option A is incorrect because a Wi-Fi analyzer examines wireless signal characteristics like strength, channel usage, and interference. It doesn't capture or analyze the actual data packets or application-specific traffic. Option B is incorrect because a loopback plug tests the basic functionality of a network port but doesn't provide any information about actual network traffic or application behavior. Option D is incorrect because a cable tester only verifies the physical wiring of a cable. It doesn't capture or analyze network traffic and couldn't provide information about application-specific issues. 24. During a large office network installation, a technician needs to test dozens of newly installed network wall jacks to ensure they are properly wired and functioning before users move in. Which tool would be most efficient for this task? A. Network tap. B. Cable tester. C. Crimper. D. Wi-Fi analyzer. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Cable tester. Explanation. Option B is correct because a cable tester is specifically designed to verify network cable connections, checking for opens, shorts, miswires, and correct pin mappings. Using a cable tester with a remote unit allows the technician to quickly test each wall jack from the patch panel, ensuring all installations are correct before users depend on them. Option A is incorrect because a network tap captures network traffic for analysis. It doesn't test the physical connectivity or wiring of installed network jacks. Option C is incorrect because a crimper is used to attach connectors to cable ends. While it was likely used earlier in the installation process to create patch cables, it's not a testing tool and cannot verify if installed wall jacks are properly wired. Option D is incorrect because a Wi-Fi analyzer examines wireless networks. It has no capability to test physical network jacks or wired connections. 25. An IT support specialist needs to run network cabling between two buildings on a corporate campus. The buildings are 150 meters apart, and the cable will be buried underground. Which of the following cable types would be most appropriate for this installation? A. Cat6. UTP. B. Direct burial. Fiber optic. C. Standard. Cat6. ASTP. D. Plenum rated coaxial. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. Direct burial fiber optic. Explanation. Option B is correct because direct burial fiber optic cable is specifically designed for underground installation between buildings. Fiber optic can easily span the 150-meter distance. Exceeding the 100-meter limit of copper Ethernet is immune to electrical interference between buildings, and direct burial variants have additional protection against moisture and physical stress. Option A is incorrect because standard Cat6 UTP has a maximum distance limitation of 100 meters, less than the required 150 meters, and is not designed for direct burial without additional conduit protection. It would also be susceptible to electrical interference between buildings. Option C is incorrect because while Cat6A STP provides shielding against interference, standard versions are not designed for direct burial, and even Cat6A is limited to 100 meters for 10 GB per operation. Option D is incorrect because plenum rating is designed for fire safety and air handling spaces, not for underground burial. Additionally, coaxial would not be the preferred media for a modern network connection between buildings at this distance. 26. A user has a new laptop with only USB-C ports and needs to connect multiple peripherals, including an external monitor, a wired network connection, and several USB devices. Which of the following would be the most efficient solution? A. multiple individual adapters for each device. B. A USB-C docking station. C. A USB-C to USB-A hub. D. A Bluetooth adapter. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. A USB-C docking station. Explanation. Option B is correct because a USB-C docking station is specifically designed to allow connection of multiple peripherals to a single USB-C port, including monitors, via HDMI or DisplayPort, network connections, via Ethernet, and traditional USB devices. This provides the most efficient and integrated solution for the scenario described. Option A is incorrect because while individual adapters could work, using separate adapters for each device would be cumbersome, potentially use all available USB-C ports, create cable clutter, and be less efficient than an integrated docking solution. Option C is incorrect because while this would allow connection of USB devices, it typically wouldn't provide the monitor connection or network connectivity needed in the scenario. Option D is incorrect because Bluetooth would only address wireless peripherals, not the wired network connection or external monitor requirements specified in the scenario. 27. A technician is building a server that will run database applications requiring high reliability. The server motherboard supports various memory configurations. Which type of RAM should the technician install for the best protection against memory errors that could corrupt data? A. DDR5 RAM. B. Dual-channel RAM. C. ECC RAM. D. Virtual RAM. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. ECC RAM. Explanation. Option C is correct because ECC, error correcting code, RAM is specifically designed to detect and automatically correct common data corruption issues in memory. This makes it ideal for servers and database applications where data integrity is critical. ECC RAM includes additional memory chips that store parity information, allowing it to identify and fix single-bit errors on the fly. Option A is incorrect because while DDR5 offers higher performance than older generations, the type of RAM, DDR3, DDR4, DDR5, refers to the generation and speed capabilities, not the error correction capabilities. DDR5 without ECC does not provide the error detection and correction needed for high reliability. Option B is incorrect because dual-channel refers to a memory configuration that improves bandwidth by accessing multiple memory modules simultaneously. While this improves performance, it does not provide error detection or correction capabilities. Option D is incorrect because virtual RAM is not physical memory, but rather disk space used as an extension of physical RAM. It cannot provide error correction for the physical RAM and actually introduces more potential points of failure and slower performance. 28. A technician has just installed new RAM in a desktop computer. After powering on the system, it boots normally, but Windows only shows 4 GB of usable memory, even though 8 GB is physically installed. The technician confirms in the BIOS that all 8 GB is detected. What is the most likely cause of this discrepancy? A. The RAM modules are installed in the wrong slots. B. The computer is running a 32-bit version of Windows. C. The motherboard needs a BIOS update. D. One of the RAM modules is defective. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. The computer is running a 32-bit version of Windows. Explanation. Option B is correct because 32-bit operating systems have an address space limitation that prevents them from using more than approximately 4 GB of RAM, even if more is physically installed. When the BIOS correctly detects all 8 GB but Windows only shows 4 GB as usable, a 32-bit OS is the most likely explanation. Option A is incorrect, because if the RAM were installed in the wrong slots, the system might not operate in dual-channel mode, but all memory would still be accessible to the operating system. Since the BIOS detects all 8 GB, the slots are not the issue. Option C is incorrect, because the scenario states that the BIOS already correctly detects all 8 GB of RAM, indicating that the BIOS is compatible without the installed memory. Option D is incorrect, because if one of the modules were defective, the BIOS would likely not detect the full 8 GB. Since the BIOS sees all 8 GB and the issue is only with how much memory Windows reports as usable, a defective module is not the likely cause. 29. A technician is installing a traditional hard drive in a desktop computer that will be used primarily for storing large video files. Which of the following hard drive specifications would provide the best performance for this specific use case? A. 5,400 revolutions per minute, 2.5 form factor. B. 5,400 revolutions per minute, 3.5 form factor. C. 7,200 revolutions per minute, 2.5 form factor. D. 7,200 revolutions per minute, 3.5 form factor. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: D. 7,200 revolutions per minute, 3.5 form factor. Explanation: Option D is correct because a 7,200 revolutions per minute, 3.5 hard drive provides the best combination of performance and capacity for storing large video files. The 7,200 revolutions per minute speed offers better sequential read/write performance than 5,400 revolutions per minute drives, which is important for working with large video files. The 3.5 form factor typically allows for higher capacity drives and often provides better performance than 2.5 drives of the same RPM. Option A is incorrect, because this combination offers the lowest performance of the options listed. The slower rotation speed combined with the typically smaller cache and data density of 2.5 drives would result in slower read/write speeds for large video files. Option B is incorrect, because while the 3.5 form factor is appropriate, the 5,400 revolutions per minute speed would result in slower data transfer rates compared to a 7,200 revolutions per minute drive, making it less suitable for working with large video files. Option C is incorrect, because although the 7,200 revolutions per minute speed is good for performance, 2.5 drives typically have lower maximum capacities than 3.5 drives, and sometimes lower performance due to physical constraints. For storing large video files, the 3.5 form factor would be more appropriate. (30) After moving to a new office location, a user's computer cannot connect to the corporate network via Ethernet. The computer shows network cable unplugged despite the cable being physically connected at both ends. What should the technician check first? A. Update the network adapter drivers. B. Verify the cable is not a crossover cable. C. Reset the TCP/IP stack. D. Check if the switch port is enabled. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: D. Check if the switch port is enabled. Explanation: Option D is correct because in a new office location, switch ports are often disabled by default for security reasons until they are properly provisioned. If the network cable is confirmed to be physically connected, but shows as unplugged, a disabled switch port is the most likely cause. Option A is incorrect, because while driver issues can cause problems, They typically don't result in a cable unplugged message when the cable is physically connected. Option B is incorrect because modern network equipment typically supports auto MDIX, which automatically adjusts for crossover cables. Additionally, a crossover cable would still show as connected, just without establishing a working link. Option C is incorrect because resetting the TCP/IP stack addresses software-level network configuration issues, not physical connection detection problems indicated by network cable unplugged messages. Struggling with your IT certification exams? We've all been there. Welcome to MyITCerts.com, your ultimate resource for IT exam success. Find over 15,000 plus questions and answers. Join our thriving community of over 10,000 plus active students and the impressive 100% success rate with our premium exam support. Visit MyITCerts.com today and take first step towards guarantee success. 31. A developer needs to run multiple operating systems simultaneously for testing purposes. Which CPU feature should be enabled in BIOS UEFI to improve the performance of virtual machines? A. Multi-threading. B. Virtualization support. C. Secure boot. D. Fan control profiles. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Virtualization support. Explanation. Option B is correct because virtualization support, Intel VTX or AMD-V, provides hardware-level assistance for running virtual machines, significantly improving their performance and reliability. Option A is incorrect because while multithreading can help with overall system performance, it's not specifically designed for virtual machine efficiency like virtualization extensions are. Option C is incorrect because Secure Boot is a security feature that prevents unauthorized operating systems from loading during startup, but doesn't improve virtual machine performance. Option D is incorrect because fan control profiles manage cooling and noise levels, but don't directly affect virtual machine performance. (32) A technician is upgrading a small form factor PC and needs to add a video card for dual monitor support. After opening the case, they find one PCIe X16 slot and one PCIe X1 slot available. Which of the following is the most important factor to consider before purchasing a video card? A. Whether the video card has HDMI or DisplayPort outputs. B. The physical size of the video card and power requirements. C. The amount of video memory, VR RAM on the card. D. The warranty period of the video card. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. The physical size of the video card and power requirements. Explanation. Option B is correct because small form factor PCs have limited physical space and power supply capacity. A card that's too large won't fit in the case, and one that requires more power than the PSU can provide won't work properly, even if it fits in the PCIe slot. Option A is incorrect because while connection types are important for monitor compatibility, they don't address the primary physical constraints of small form factor systems. Option C is incorrect because while VRAM amount affects performance, it's not the most critical consideration for a small form factor, PC, where physical constraints come first. Option D is incorrect because warranty period, while important for consumer protection, doesn't affect whether the card will physically work in the system. (33) A customer's computer is making a high-pitched electrical whine that changes pitch when different programs are running. The system is stable and operational. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. The CPU is overheating. B. The power supply is experiencing coil whine. C. The hard drive is beginning to fail. D. The graphics card fan is malfunctioning. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. The power supply is experiencing coil whine. Explanation. Option B is correct because coil whine from the power supply is a common cause of high-pitched electrical noises that change with system load. It happens when electrical components like inductors vibrate at different frequencies based on power draw. Option A is incorrect because CPU overheating would cause performance issues and possibly shutdowns, not specifically noise that varies with program usage. Option C is incorrect because a failing hard drive typically makes clicking, grinding, or buzzing noises, not high-pitched whines that change with different programs. Option D is incorrect because a malfunctioning fan would make consistent mechanical noise like grinding or buzzing, not electrical whines that change with program load. 34. A technician is installing a new power supply in an older system with a 20-pin motherboard connector. The new power supply has a 24-pin connector. What should the technician do? A. Return the power supply and purchase one with a 20-pin connector. B. Connect only the matching 20 pins and leave 4 pins disconnected. C. Use a 24-pin to 20-pin adapter. D. Connect all 24 pins to force the motherboard to accept more power. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Use a 24-pin to 20-pin adapter. Explanation. Option C is correct because a 24-pin to 20-pin adapter is specifically designed to allow newer power supplies with 24-pin connectors to work with older motherboards that have 20-pin connectors. Option A is incorrect because modern power supplies with native 20-pin connectors are hard to find, and it's unnecessary when adapters exist. Option B is incorrect because while some 24-pin connectors are designed to work with 20-pin motherboards by leaving 4 pins hanging, this isn't true for all power supplies and could cause compatibility issues. Option D is incorrect because forcing all 24 pins to connect to a 20-pin motherboard connector is physically impossible without damaging the motherboard and could cause electrical problems. 35. A company is setting up a printer in a small room with limited space. Which environmental factor is most important to consider for a laser printer in this location? A. Proximity to an electrical outlet. B. Adequate ventilation. C. Distance from exterior windows. D. Humidity levels in the room. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Adequate ventilation. Explanation. Option B is correct because laser printers generate heat and potentially emit small amounts of ozone during operation. In a small room with limited space, adequate ventilation is crucial to prevent overheating and maintain air quality. Option A is incorrect because while access to power is necessary, it's not the most critical environmental factor specifically for a laser printer in a small space. Option C is incorrect because while direct sunlight should be avoided, this is true for most electronics and isn't the most critical factor for a laser printer specifically in a small room. Option D is incorrect because while humidity can affect paper feeding, ventilation is more critical for a laser printer in a confined space due to heat generation. 36. A technician needs to scan a thick book and a stack of standard office documents at a client's office. The client has a multifunction device with both a flatbed scanner and an automatic document feeder, ADF. Which scanning method should be used for each item? A. Use the flatbed scanner for both the book and the documents. B. Use the ADF for both the book and the documents. C. Use the flatbed scanner for the book and the ADF for the stack of documents. D. Use the ADF for the book and the flatbed scanner for the stack of documents. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. C. Use the flatbed scanner for the book and the ADF for the stack of documents. Explanation. Option C is correct because flatbed scanners are designed for bound materials, like books that can't go through an ADF, while ADFs are ideal for efficiently scanning multiple loose pages, like a stack of standard documents. Option A is incorrect, because while a flatbed scanner works for both items, using it for the stack of documents would be inefficient and time-consuming compared to using the ADF. Option B is incorrect, because books cannot be fed through an ADF, which requires separating pages and could damage the book's binding. Option D is incorrect, because this approach uses each scanner component for the wrong type of document, making the process inefficient and potentially damaging to the book. 37. A user reports that their printouts from a color laser printer are coming out with wrinkled paper and the toner smears when touched. Which component is most likely failing? A. Transfer belt. B. Imaging drum. C. Fuser assembly. D. Pickup rollers. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Fuser assembly. Explanation. Option C is correct because the fuser assembly is responsible for melting the toner and permanently bonding it to the paper. When the fuser is failing, two classic symptoms appear: wrinkled paper due to heat or pressure problems, and toner that smears when touched because it hasn't been properly fused to the paper. Option A is incorrect, because transfer belt issues affect how toner transfers from the drum to the paper, not how it adheres to or fuses with the paper. Option B is incorrect, because imaging drum problems affect image formation and quality, not paper wrinkling or toner adhesion. Option D is incorrect, because pickup rollers affect how paper feeds into the printer, not how it's processed during printing, or how toner adheres to it. 38. After replacing filament in a 3D printer, a technician notices small plastic strings between separate parts of the printed model. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. The print bed is not properly leveled. B. The extruder temperature is set too high. C. The filament has absorbed moisture. D. The nozzle needs to be replaced. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. The extruder temperature is set too high. Explanation. Option B is correct because stringing, thin filament strands between parts, in 3D printing is primarily caused by extruder temperature being too high. When the temperature is excessive, the filament becomes too runny and drips or oozes as the printhead moves between separate areas of the print. Option A is incorrect, because bed leveling issues affect first layer adhesion and overall print stability, not stringing between parts. Option C is incorrect because moisture in filament typically causes popping, bubbling, and poor layer adhesion, not stringing between parts. Option D is incorrect because while a worn nozzle can cause extrusion problems, it typically results in inconsistent extrusion or under-extrusion, not specifically stringing between parts. 39. A retail company wants to migrate their point-of-sale system to the cloud. They need to maintain some applications on premises for security reasons while moving others to a public cloud to reduce costs. Which cloud model should they implement? A. Community cloud. B. Private cloud. C. Public cloud. D. Hybrid cloud. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, D. Hybrid cloud. Explanation. Option D is correct because a hybrid cloud combines private, on-premises, and public cloud resources, allowing the company to keep sensitive applications in their secure environment while leveraging the cost benefits of public cloud for other applications. This mixed approach precisely matches their requirements. Option A is incorrect because a community cloud is shared among multiple organizations with similar requirements and doesn't address the need to maintain some applications on premises. Option B is incorrect because a private cloud alone wouldn't provide the cost benefits of moving some applications to a public cloud. Option C is incorrect because a public cloud alone wouldn't allow keeping sensitive applications on premises for security reasons. A company's employees frequently work on multiple devices, including office computers, laptops, and tablets. They need to access the most current version of their files, regardless of which device they're using. Which cloud computing feature should the IT department implement? A. Rapid elasticity. B. File synchronization. C. Metered utilization. D. High availability. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, B. File synchronization. Explanation. Option B is correct because file synchronization automatically keeps files updated across multiple devices, ensuring that changes made on one device appear on all other devices. This directly addresses the need for employees to access the most current version of their files from any device. Option A is incorrect because rapid elasticity refers to scaling resources up or down quickly, which doesn't address the need for consistent file access across devices. Option C is incorrect because metered utilization refers to the pay-as-you-go billing model of cloud services, not file access across multiple devices. Option D is incorrect because while high availability ensures systems remain accessible despite hardware failures, it doesn't specifically address keeping files consistent across multiple devices. 41. A small business is setting up virtual machines for testing purposes, but has limited physical resources. The business has a computer with 16 GB of RAM. How much RAM should they allocate to a VM that will run Windows 10 with basic Office applications? A. 1 GB. B. 4 GB. C. 8 GB. D. 12 GB. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. 4 GB. Explanation. Option B is correct because 4 GB of RAM is the recommended amount for running Windows 10 with basic Office applications in a virtual environment. This provides enough memory for decent performance while leaving adequate resources for the host system on a 16 GB machine. Option A is incorrect because 1 GB is insufficient for running Windows 10 properly, which would result in poor performance and excessive disk swapping. Option C is incorrect because allocating 8 GB, half of the total available RAM, for a basic Windows 10 VM would be excessive for just Office applications and would leave insufficient memory for the host system and any other VMs. Option D is incorrect because allocating 12 GB to the VM would leave only 4 GB for the host operating system, which could cause the host system to perform poorly. This is too much RAM for basic Office applications in a VM. 42. A user wants to run a virtual machine, but is concerned about network security. Which VM network configuration provides the most isolation from both the external network and the host system? A. Bridged networking. B. NAT, network address translation. C. Host-only networking. D. No networking. Network adapter disabled. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer, D. No networking. Network adapter disabled. Explanation. Option D is correct because completely disabling the network adapter provides the highest level of network isolation, ensuring that nothing can communicate without the VM over any network, which is the most secure option when isolation is the primary concern. Option A is incorrect because bridged networking gives the VM direct access to the physical network, making it appear as a separate device on the network with its own IP address. This provides the least isolation of the options listed. Option B is incorrect because NAT allows the VM to access external networks through the host's connection, which doesn't provide full network isolation, though it does hide the VM behind the host's IP address. Option C is incorrect because while host-only networking isolates the VM from external networks, it still allows communication between the VM and the host system, which doesn't provide complete network isolation. 43. A technician is troubleshooting a laptop that won't connect to Wi-Fi. The technician has gathered information from the user, established several theories, and is ready to begin testing. Which of the following is the best first test to perform? A. Replace the wireless card. B. Reinstall the operating system. C. Check if Wi-Fi is enabled on the laptop. D. Update the wireless drivers. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Check if Wi-Fi is enabled on the laptop. Explanation. Option C is correct, because when testing theories you should start without the simplest, least invasive tests first. Checking if Wi-Fi is enabled is a simple first step that requires no system changes and could immediately identify the cause of the problem. Option A is incorrect because replacing hardware should only be done after simpler theories have been tested and confirmed. Hardware replacement is invasive and time-consuming. Option B is incorrect because reinstalling the operating system is an extreme measure that should only be considered after many other troubleshooting steps have been attempted. It's time-consuming and disruptive. Option D is incorrect because while updating drivers might help, it involves making system changes before verifying simpler potential causes. Driver updates should be tried after confirming basic functionality, like whether Wi-Fi is enabled. 44. A technician has fixed a critical server issue that caused downtime for several departments. Which of the following should be included in the documentation of this incident? Select 2. A. The names of users who complained about the issue. B. The root cause of the problem and solution implemented. C. Preventive measures to avoid similar issues in the future. D. A list of departments that were not affected by the outage. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. The root cause of the problem and solution implemented. Explanation. Option B is correct because documenting the root cause and solution is essential for knowledge transfer and future reference. This information helps other technicians understand what happened and how it was resolved. Option C is incorrect because documenting preventive measures is a key part of Step 6 in the troubleshooting methodology. This helps prevent the same issue from recurring and improves system reliability over time. Option A is incorrect because while it might be helpful to know who reported the issue, A comprehensive list of all users who complained is not a critical component of technical documentation. Option D is incorrect, because documenting departments not affected doesn't provide valuable technical information about the problem or its resolution. Focus should be on the impact and solution. (45) A technician notices a high-pitched whining noise coming from a computer that gets louder when running demanding applications and quieter during idle periods. What component is most likely causing this issue? A. Hard drive. B. CPU. C. Power supply. D. RAM modules. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, C. Power supply. Explanation. Option C is correct because power supplies often emit high-pitched whining noises, known as coil whine, that vary with system load. As power demands increase during demanding applications, the noise becomes more pronounced. This is typically caused by vibrations in the coils or capacitors within the power supply. Option A is incorrect because while hard drives can make noise, they typically produce clicking, grinding, or buzzing sounds rather than high-pitched whines that vary with system load. Option B is incorrect because the CPU itself doesn't make noise. While CPU cooling fans can be noisy, they would be described as fan noise rather than a high-pitched whine. Option D is incorrect because RAM modules have no moving parts and don't produce noise during operation. 46. A computer boots normally but has become increasingly slow over time. The technician notices that the CPU is running at only half its rated speed, according to System Information Utilities. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. The CPU multiplier is set incorrectly in BIOS. B. The computer has a virus. And C. The CPU is throttling due to overheating. D. Outdated CPU drivers. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. The CPU is throttling due to overheating. Explanation. Option C is correct because CPU throttling is a protective measure that reduces the processor's speed when it overheats. A CPU consistently running at half its rated speed strongly suggests thermal throttling is occurring to prevent damage from excessive heat. Option A is incorrect because while incorrect BIOS settings could cause the CPU to run at a lower speed, this wouldn't typically develop gradually over time as described in the scenario. Option B is incorrect because while viruses can cause performance issues, they don't typically cause the specific symptom of a CPU running exactly at half its rated speed. Option D is incorrect because CPUs don't use drivers in the traditional sense. The operating system interacts with the CPU through the motherboard's chipset drivers, but outdated drivers wouldn't typically cause a CPU to run at exactly half speed. 47. A technician is troubleshooting a computer that won't boot. Upon inspection, the technician notices the hard drive doesn't spin up or make any noise when power is applied. The drive doesn't appear in BIOS. What should the technician check first? A. Run data recovery software. B. Check power and data connections to the drive. C. Update the motherboard BIOS. D. Replace the drive immediately. Do you know the answer? Correct answer, B. Check power and data connections to the drive. Explanation. Option B is correct because when a drive shows no signs of activity, no spinning or noise, and isn't detected in BIOS, the most common and simplest cause is a connection problem. Checking and reseating both power and data cables should be the first troubleshooting step before assuming drive failure. Option A is incorrect, because running data recovery software isn't possible when the system doesn't even detect the drive, and it wouldn't address potential connection issues. Option C is incorrect because updating the BIOS is unlikely to resolve a drive detection issue when the drive shows no signs of receiving power. Option D is incorrect because replacing the drive should only be done after confirming that connection issues aren't the cause of the problem. 48. Users report that a shared network drive occasionally disconnects and reconnects during the day, causing work disruptions. The server has a hardware RAID 5 array, and investigation shows that the array rebuilds itself repeatedly after these incidents. What is the most likely cause of this problem? A. The RAID controller is failing. B. The network switch has intermittent issues. C. One drive in the array is developing intermittent faults. D. The server has insufficient RAM for RAID operations. Do you know the answer? Correct answer: C. One drive in the array is developing intermittent faults. Explanation: Option C is correct because repeated spontaneous RAID rebuilds suggest that one drive is intermittently failing or dropping out of the array before returning. When a drive briefly disappears from the array, the RAID controller marks the array as degraded. When the drive reappears, a rebuild is initiated. This cycle of a drive dropping out and rejoining the array explains both the disconnections users experience and the repeated rebuilds. Option A is incorrect because, while controller failure is possible, it would typically cause more consistent issues rather than intermittent dropouts and rebuilds. Option B is incorrect because network switch issues would cause connectivity problems, but wouldn't explain the RAID rebuilds, which are local to the storage system. Option D is incorrect because insufficient RAM might slow RAID performance but wouldn't cause drives to drop out of the array and trigger repeated rebuilds. 49. A user reports that after connecting a computer to a TV via HDMI, they can see the desktop, but cannot hear any audio from the TV speakers. The computer's audio was working fine with its internal speakers before connecting to the TV. What is the most likely solution? A. Update the TV's firmware. B. Change the audio output device in the computer's sound settings. C. Replace the HDMI cable with a newer version. D. Reinstall the audio drivers. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer: B. Change the audio output device in the computer's sound settings. Explanation: Option B is correct because when connecting to an external display via HDMI, the computer often needs to have its audio output manually switched to the HDMI device. By default, it may still be set to use the computer's internal speakers, even though the video is displaying on the TV. Option A is incorrect because TV firmware updates would rarely be necessary for basic HDMI audio functionality. Option C is incorrect because if the video signal is successfully displaying on the TV, the HDMI cable is likely functional. While some very old HDMI cables might have issues with audio, this is uncommon. Option D is incorrect because reinstalling audio drivers would be an excessive solution when the issue is most likely just the output device selection. 50. A technician is troubleshooting a monitor that displays with a strong blue tint on all content. The monitor is connected via VGA. What should the technician check first? A. Reset the monitor to factory defaults. B. Update the graphics drivers. C. Inspect the VGA cable for bent pins. D. Change the color temperature settings. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer: C. Inspect the VGA cable for bent pins. Explanation. Option C is correct because a strong color tint, particularly blue, when using a VGA connection is commonly caused by bent or damaged pins in the VGA connector. VGA uses separate pins for red, green, and blue signals. And if the pins for red or green are bent or damaged, the image will display with a blue tint. Option A is incorrect, because while resetting to factory defaults might help with software-based color issues, it's better to check the physical connection first with a VGA cable when seeing a strong color tint. Option B is incorrect, because driver issues typically don't cause specific color tints in the manner described, especially with analog VGA connections. Option D is incorrect because while color temperature settings can affect the overall warmth or coolness of an image, they typically don't cause a strong specific color tint like the one described. You have reached the end of our question set. For the complete exam preparation experience, visit us at MyITCerts.com, where you find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. You can study completely free using our study materials and questions, and ace your exams with confidence. Thank you for studying with us today. See you in the next video.